Well, no, because Chemo already stated that he wasn't going to accept what biodual does.
Of course I'm going to accept what he does.
No. You said that it's got to be an absolute perfect vacuum.
No, I didn't. I already said it needs to be 10 to the minus 4 or 6. He said he gave a number. I can't quite remember what he said, but we agreed that's fine. It was.
Then why did you say 0 in here?
10 to the minus 4?
Playing with Blue. Blue was messing around, being silly Billy. Silly blue boy, silly blue marble, and we're just playing.
10 to the minus 4 is what you're saying now?
No, he said something like that. I can't remember what he said. It's recorded anyway. He said he clipped what was agreed. We can't change
Timestamp
parameters. No, wait till he comes, and then he'll be able to provide everything that we need. But again,
I posted a GIF of Cavendish in a vacuum.
What? The GIF?
I posted it earlier in the conversation.
Where? Just look.
Yeah, hold on.
Whoa.
Accept it because you don't see the measurements, but it's in the paper.
Let me check this out. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Where does it say vacuum?
Cavendish.
Where does it say vacuum?
Where does it say vacuum? That's exactly my point. Is you're not going to accept it.
Where does it say it's in the vacuum? How do we know it's in the vacuum?
Yeah, on the paper, on the
But that's what we're talking about, Kosher. What we can see in your GIF.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have some.
No, I would accept this if this was in a vacuum and we could see, and this was moving. I'd be like, whoa. I mean, what's?
No, what you'll say is that the gauge was faked.
Bio's not like you guys. He honestly thinks he can prove the globe and stuff. Not like you, who just mess around and waste time. He's out there now buying equipment for this Cavendish, which none of you guys would ever even dream of doing. So he's doing the honest thing and work together.
Shit, what are you talking about?
Asked Blue to help him out, which is good. He wants to make sure.
Actually, most of the people in here have put some skin in the game. Chemo, you're the only one who has to put skin in the game with money.
Most of you ball earthers think you can argue your way out of the situation.
Yeah, but most of the people in here have done some skin in the game where they've actually done experiments. You haven't done any, so fuck off.
I've got an experiment for you guys.
Oh,
Ready?
Have you done that?
1, 2, 3.
Don't speak so soon, Mr. Moyle. Check this out.
wow! Is that you, Mel, doing that? Oh,
It's a friend of mine.
yeah, no. Pressure's on the thousands. Experiments.
Putin. When did you hang out with Putin? That's fucking cool. That's awesome.
No, that's Ranty. Kosho's put the face up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear you. You look fucking like a G there.
Is it?
Is it me? It's not about me.
What about?
You got it. Is a cool picture, man. I mean, it looks like you're actually doing something there.
The North Face.
Compared with Merle's friend, or girlfriend. Was it a girl?
No.
Long hair. Okay. What's he doing in this thing that you show?
Well, he's got a square and a ruler.
Oh, they're both flat.
They're both horizontal, yeah, straight. And then he's got like the ruler on, if it's going to load, on he's got the square on there first. So if you build a structure, there's going to be a drop, right? 'Cause it's a globe, right? And it's the same with a ruler.
Bro, I'm so glad that you brought this up with your friend. Your friend is basically demonstrating exactly what we plan to achieve with our test.
Good.
GPS TK. We're gonna make a perfectly flat line, and we're gonna use it as a reference to measure the curve of the Earth.
Right.
If there is any.
Yeah. Interesting.
Definitely. That's
So
the
you
one
see,
thing
yeah, we're super duper serious. We actually go out there and do the stuff. Now, again, I know it looks like we're joking and having fun, but I mean, I can let you in a little secret. We're half laughing at you guys. That's what's happening. So a lot of the guys who feel like you feel that are not serious, they're like looking at you like you guys think you're on a board and you can't, you know. So there's that element to it. So that's why it can appear that way. But because like now it's became a little bit of a show. You know, you guys are like, prove this board, but you know, you're just not becoming a spectacle, basically, right? So the observer on the outside is like, these ball earthers, you know, they literally have no idea what they're talking about, yet they still was I there that day? I might have been there with the guys that day. Am I recording that? No, that's Nathan. Oh, does that mean no? Might be there. Ooh, yeah,
Riley, Nathan.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, was I there on that day? But yeah, we're super deadly serious. Like I say, it may look like entertainment and fun, but we all have different approaches. Now, for me, I don't see the need to, like you might say for the Americans, wiling out. You know, going. So here it would be like hyperactive or something. Not necessary. You know, you guys have been deceived. Others will say, look, you guys are liars. You need to be executed. You've heard that before. You've heard you guys need your heads rolling. Heads need to roll. I'm like, well, you know, come on. They've just experienced something that they had no idea what they were in. Yeah?
It's a bit far.
No, we've had the guillotine proposed for the board. Because they're seen as liars. They're lying to the next generation. They're causing harm. They're giving people like an illusion. And that's causing harm. Well, so I can understand it, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree with violence in that kind. If people have just been indoctrinated. I mean, to me, they're still children. But obviously, when they were 12, 13, they haven't progressed since that age. They still believe in rockets flying around in space, right? Like a kid would. You know, like, woo! You know, you've got the rockets in his hand, and he's like, woo, look at me, I'm flying the rocket in my hand. You know, wee! Like that. You know, you understand. You can imagine it, yeah? So,
You know what's more devastating though?
Mm-hmm.
Just proving it. That's more devastating than anything.
That's what I'm trying to say. A 12-year-old or 15-year-old could not prove anything, right? They can just say, oh, well, my teacher told me, you know, and that's how I know it, and stop telling me, stop asking me. So that's what the ballers are like today when we're like, come on, grow up. Now show something physical. They're like, no, we've got NASA, they can show us, they can tell us. And we're like, well, look, you have to mature now. You're talking to adults who require experiments of a practical nature. And this is why I've always said it's psychological. It's nothing to do with any kind of evidence. You know, you can't show a 12-year-old, 13-year-old how water works. You can't explain how... you can't talk to a 12-year-old about variables. They'd be like, oh, well, I just take two objects and they just move together. Yeah, I don't even think about the atmosphere or the pressure causing that. I'm just going to go with the results. But
I kind of isolated that by the fact that it doesn't move when there's no...
why is Witsit muted? Where is he? Oh, you're not muted.
So why...
I don't know why. I didn't even see you join Witsit. I don't know how that happened. But you're unmuted now.
So why, when there's no weights in there, does it stay still? Isn't the air still in there when the weights are not moving?
What's going on, Witsit? Did you want to get involved in anything?
I'm trying to avoid that.
What up, bro?
What's going on? Just breaking down. I don't know what we were saying. We were just talking about a bit of science, how they can know stuff. Yeah, I was saying that they haven't left the age of like 12, 13. They've got the mentality still of that, where if you try and explain complex things to them, they find it hard to grasp. So we're kind of like their guide, something like that.
Chemo, I got a complex thing for you. Let's say we found 4 cities that are the same distance from the North Pole. Okay? Just 4 cities on the Earth somewhere. Or just 4 locations. I don't care. They're the same distance from the North Pole. The distance between city, 1 and 2 is, let's say 100 miles. And let's say all of them are between the one that's corresponding next to each other. Okay? But the 2 outer on a flat Earth, you should be able to find out that they're not, 400 miles away from each other. They should be. Well, wait a minute. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 4,
What
3.
do you want
300
about
miles.
Grenade?
Why do you always do that? Why do you always say that this is what the flat Earth should be like? You should be able to find. I'm talking.
if the
I'm
flat Earth-
talking. I'm talking. So I'll let you finish. Why do you always say things as a globe earther that doesn't even know their own model yet? You say the flat Earth should be like this. It should be at 300 miles. Where did you get that figure? So exactly, what is the size of the flat Earth? What's the distance or altitude of the sun and the moon? And what's the altitude of the firmament? Huh?
Has nothing to do with this question.
It has nothing to do with that. So you don't even know the position of anything.
If
Does
four
the North Pole keep moving?
cities at the North Pole,
Good questions, Witsit.
Let Grenade respond. To be fair, Grenade didn't get to finish his.
Yeah, he actually did finish. You're a terrible moderator. Go ahead.
He didn't get to finish.
Yeah, you're terrible at the simple job of moderation. Go ahead.
He stuttered for a second and he cut in. But let Grenade respond, guys.
well, I can hold two different views in my head at the same time.
No, you can't.
I can see the world as a globe or as a flat surface.
That's not how that works.
I can look at both ways.
No, see, this is the thing,
I can
though.
tell-
If you are making a
He's got to be allowed to respond, man.
Probably got a higher IQ than you. Okay. All right. I don't brag very often, but I'm fairly certain I have a higher IQ than you. And I can hold more than one view in my head at the same time. And that's the
Grenade,
big problem.
we say to that, there's only one way to find out, right?
Able to hold two views in their head at the same time.
That may be true, but there's only one way to find out, and that's for you to demonstrate your claim, yes? Then you would show that you have a higher intellect, IQ, whatever it is that you think you have, than the flat earthers. And just like the papers, it's just poetry, yes? Unless you can demonstrate that, Grenade Head.
Yeah, if you had such a high IQ, you wouldn't have cowered away as soon as I asked what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
No?
continuing on.
Okay.
Those
If
who
you-
profess need to demonstrate.
Now listen. if
I'm
you do
guessing
this
maybe
experiment-
120 is really proud of it.
Okay, it doesn't. It's
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
I
so
nailed it.
Yeah, I know. But okay, if you do this experiment, just as a matter of practical thinking on a piece of paper versus a globe, you grab 4 points that are the same distance from the pole of a globe, and 4 points that are the same distance from the pole on a flat surface.
Which pole on a flat surface? Just the north or the south or what?
We're going with the North Pole.
Okay, so we're looking at the north, assuming a flat Earth. Go ahead.
Assuming a flat Earth, you go away from that distance X, whatever distance you want to choose, and you mark 4 spaces that are equally spaced from that distance.
Oh, would you have to be in the direct center to get the equal spacing to get an equidistant distance?
Well, let's say you went from the North Pole down to, let's say, Chicago, whatever that just.
Why can't you
Okay.
just answer questions? So, in order to measure from the center, would it be equidistant when you need to know the exact center?
I don't really care where the.
You don't really
whether the-
care. This is why I called you out at the beginning. I'm talking now, Coach. So where's your moderator at now? So when I was explaining that I don't really take it seriously when globe zealots that don't even understand their own religion yet try to critique and straw man.
You're the one doing the straw manning here. That's the only problem. With this
So
conversation.
why did he get
Be
muted
careful
though?
not to cut him
I
off,
mean,
man.
you're stumbling and fumbling. I
I'm
mean,
not
you-
really stumbling.
When
I'm just
when is the boxing match? Everybody wants to know. When are you coming to Dallas to fight Nathan?
But is it just that he can talk faster, or
no,
what?
that's basically you can talk fast.
What? This is what I don't get. Is like, how come I let you get it out, and then as soon as I start talking, you interrupt me, and then I got muted? What a clown world, dude! Y'all are a bunch of jokes.
When is the boxing match, man? Everybody's been
There's
waiting.
not going to be a boxing match. He's not going to box me, dude. So here's the problem, man. If you want to straw man a flat Earth model, okay, at least try to do it with some form of intellectual integrity, or just shut up. So if you're going to make a claim dependent upon equidistant value from the center, you need to know the exact center. You came up with the value of 300 miles should be on a flat Earth. That is dumb. Next.
Grenade, do you see the problem? What's being said? Yeah.
The problem correctly in your head is the reason why you're having trouble with it.
So you're going to just not respond with specificity. Do you need to know the center to get the equidistant value in all directions?
Right now, okay? I'm going to get specific right now.
Do you need to know the center to get the equidistant value in all directions, yes or no?
There is a
Grenade,
place-
your microphone is very low, by the way. If you want to up it.
And you need a yes or a no before you
I'm going to walk through this quickly.
go to the next bit.
Doesn't the North Pole keep moving?
Let Grenade
What
respond.
is-
Let Grenade respond.
Yeah, let Grenade respond, but he needs to fix his mic and connection.
He needs to learn that yes or no questions or is what you respond with a yes or no.
Yeah.
What is the
Okay.
question?
Okay, he made a claim about how far away something should be on a flat Earth relative to the center. I said, in order to know the equidistant value in all directions, wouldn't you need to know the actual center point?
There is a place on this planet that we call, or whatever it is. that
Not a
we
planet.
call the pole. Okay? It
Okay,
seems to
a
be
place
the-
you call the pole because of Google Earth. Go ahead.
Witsit.
Now listen,
Yeah.
there's two. One is a magnetic north.
Mhm.
The other one is the celestial north.
Oh, are
Okay?
they correlated?
No, they're not actually correlated.
Oh, so they have no relationship relative to one another.
They have some relationship.
Oh, so they are related.
but not directly.
I gotta go do
They're
some work.
because they're
This
part
is
of the
fucking
same.
weird.
Who's next, bro? This guy's trash.
Can't behave like this, man. You got the same right that you guys are asking for about speaking on this kind
He's
of
just
stuff.
contradicted himself 3 times.
Kosho, dude. Kosho, shut up, dude.
No,
that
no,
dude
Witsit,
talked.
whoever-
Kosho, I started responding to that guy, and you muted me, dude. What a loser. He interrupted me, and you muted
Witsit,
me.
I didn't mute you, okay? I'm saying whoever muted you did it because you're interrupting. You're not giving.
No, I let him finish,
not
Kosho.
letting him finish.
Yes, Kosho.
Oh, you muted him again.
Okay.
It's either Veach or Kosho.
There is a point on the surface of whatever the hell we live on that is directly underneath, let's say, the North Pole, the North Star. Okay.
How do you know
We're
what's
gonna
directly underneath that?
We call it the North Pole.
Okay, how do you get there?
That location on this surface,
How do you verify that?
everybody on the planet agrees, is
No.
the North Pole. That's the spot I'm talking about.
Right.
Wherever that, you start there and you go a distance away from there. Let's say 1,000 miles. I don't care.
Right.
1,000 miles could be 10,000 miles. I don't care. You go 1,000 miles, and you draw a circle around that spot, and you pick spots on that circle that you made. This is a flat surface, mind you. You draw a circle around it, and you put spots that are equidistant from each other. Let's say you put the first spot, and then on the left or right of that, on the circle line, you go out 100 miles, and you put a spot on each side of that. And then just for fair measure, we're going to put a fourth one. So you go put a fourth one on the left or the right of either, whichever one, and you get 4 that are the same distance apart from the nearest one. So they're 4 equal spacings between them. Okay, or 3 equal distance because we're dealing with 4 objects.
Are you nearly there, dude?
Oh,
They're
let him
all-
finish.
Now listen. Now, the distance between each of them, I said, was like 100 miles. So you add that up between the 4 of them. There's 300 miles. Okay, but the 2 outer ones on a flat surface should actually be closer if you went as the crow flies, a distance that's the direct straight line between the 2. Should be a shorter distance, but on a spherical surface would not be a shorter distance.
Are you done?
The main difference between the flat earth and the globe is measurement on each surfaces work out differently. So doing a simple experiment like that,
So, recapping.
Kosho, he's been
Oh.
talking forever, dude.
Yeah, he
Come
hasn't even
on.
got to his point yet either.
Grenade, you don't even know what you're saying, man. Come on. Just make the point quickly.
oh, I thought I said it fairly clearly.
Don't
Okay,
repeat
Okay, so
it.
can I rebut it now without being interrupted?
If I broke out my crayons for you, I'm sure.
Oh, nice
Uh,
self-rejection of your intellectual insecurity. Can I now actually respond without being interrupted, or Coach, are you going to mute me as
No,
soon as
no,
I
you
start?
can respond now. I think he said enough.
All right, let's see if Coach is going to let me go uninterrupted now. So, very simply, back full circle to the question that you still continue to avoid, like the clown show this room is full of. So I said, in order to make a claim dependent upon equidistant value from the center, you would need to know the exact central point. You then brought up a celestial pole. You said it had no relative nature. You said it had nothing to do with the actual North Pole and the celestial pole have nothing to do with each other. Like they're not related. Then you said they were related. So you're using the polar alignment relative to the stars under your assumption, yet you said you have to go to the center and then measure out 1,000 miles. So how do you do that without knowing the accurate position of the center?
Okay, can I respond?
Yeah, please do for once.
Okay, this thought experiment could be done without equation. You could do it from any location on the planet. On the surface of this what you're living on, the center of your little circle.
So it's just a thought experiment.
It doesn't actually require the North Pole. It doesn't require any specific location on the planet. It can be done with all locations on a circle or a flat surface, on a ball or surface.
Oh, okay, so you're willing to throw out your whole North Pole argument and then start over.
Now, use that because I thought originally you would comprehend.
No, I comprehend. I don't accept your speculative, unfounded nonsense.
So, Grenade, can I just be direct here? So, if you've got a piece of paper and you draw a circle, has that circle got a center point?
That's where the compass goes. Yeah, the point of the compass.
Right.
Yeah,
so it has a
going-
center point, right?
Right, and that could be anywhere on the surface of whatever object you're dealing with. Yes.
So it's not hard. You can just be economical.
Right. And if you did the same thing on a basketball, or you did it on a flat piece of paper, you'll see that the two outer points of this little exercise would have different distances. It would work differently. The math works out differently on a globe versus a flat surface.
Oh yeah, how so? Specify.
That crux the whole thing. And the flat earthers won't do this little experiment.
You haven't even done it though. You admitted it's just a thought experiment. So why don't the globe earthers do it?
Well, the thing is,
Thing is, I just make stuff up.
I've actually done this on geometric shapes.
Okay, cite it. Cite the Earth being in any way proven to be a ball because you measure distance from the central point, or just stop making up stories.
Now listen, I told you that the central point could be any.
Where you put the compass, right?
This is awesome, dude. Thanks for the morning entertainment, bro.
He's not. He's actually using the same proof that I consider one of the only proofs. Strictly using the word proof because it's a mathematical proof of the
Oh, you do agree that math is actually a description, right? So that doesn't prove reality, bro.
Well, I haven't gotten to the description of it, what I'm describing, which is simply the locations on Earth. The locations on Earth, which is what he's describing. And if you want to give an example, you can use let's just use the distance being the equator from the North Pole, and let's use the 4 points being 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, and then -90.
Okay.
So 4 of the meridians. If on a flat plane, those distances from the North Pole being the center, a flat circle, the distances between them would be about 10,000 kilometers.
Kosho, were you not listening? How do you know where the center is?
I'm almost there. The difference would be about 10,000 miles, not kilometers. 10,000 miles between them. So what he's saying is true. On a flat plane, that would be the distance between them on a circle.
How do you test this?
On a globe, those distances are actually 6,200. So it's a big difference.
That's wild. So back to the point. Did you actually establish the accurate central point to get the equidistant value, or are you also just making stuff up?
No, you can. I mean, I can use an actual center point. There's a
so what's the actual center point? Drop it in the chat.
I mean, I'm gonna have to drop it on a globe.
I've researched this in depth. I know you haven't. You don't know how to verify.
There, man.
Oh, the moderator. There's a flag there. Okay, so if someone put a flag in the ground, that means it's provably the center of the earth.
It's not the center of the earth. It's not in the ground. It's in the water. It's in the bottom of the water.
So where's the center of where's the center of the globe?
The center of the globe is in the core.
Wait, if it's in the bottom of the water, how is it? It's not in the ground in the water? It's just floating in the water?
No, it's under the water.
In the ground.
On the bottom of the...
Right.
Okay, so it's in the ground. So someone stuck a flag in the ground, and then you know it's the center of the earth, not the center of a ball, the center of the surface, because they put a flag there.
No, it's the North Pole. It's a recognized North Pole. It's not
recognized North Pole by who? I don't recognize it.
By the Russians, the U.S., and everybody.
Oh, the Russians. The Russians, the same ones that sent pictures of models the same size of Coke cans to their entire public and lied about going to space fighting the United States. Those Russians, the same Russians that murdered tens of millions of people. Those Russians, their own people. Wow, Russia was government would never lie.
You're cutting people off before you're getting an answer. I said
I was making a point.
The U.S., Witsit, the Russians, the U.S., and everyone else.
Everyone else. Well, I'm sitting right here telling you that that's bogus. So what's up?
But you're nobody important.
Oh, but you are?
You
hang out on a globe Earth, flat Earth Discord thinking that you're smart because you think the Earth's a ball like everyone was taught when they were 5. Like your opinion holds more weight?
Kosho and Grenade Head. So, like, if you're at the North Pole, right, would the center of the Earth be halfway antipodal to the South Pole?
That one more time? The North Pole is the antipode to the South Pole.
Right, so halfway in between the 2 points is the center, right?
Core, I guess, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the core.
Well, yeah.
So
and that for any location on the planet, not just the North Pole.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was talking, so feel free to shut up.
So could you measure from the center of the Earth to the North Pole and get the radius?
Sure. What are you asking?
Well, wouldn't that be the way to do it, rather than with 2 sticks in the ground and some shadows?
No.
No?
How would you measure the radius of a bowling ball? The same way. You're not going to cut in it and figure it out that way. You're going to use it determining the circumference.
But you guys know the exact distance to the center of the core, right?
Yeah, and you don't have a accurate circumference. That's the whole point. That's in contention, Kosho. That's called a begging the question fallacy.
Where is it in contention?
Yeah, the circumference claim is in contention, dude. So for you to say the radius is derivative of the circumference, what a cool story. Because the circumference is in contention.
How do they know it isn't a perfect sphere? It seems like they actually did some figuring here already.
It seems like they did some mathematical calculation over the course of 2,000-3,000 years, reverse engineered the sky and made it up and said it was a ball.
Using observations and measurements.
Where's it?
Yeah, using observations and the assumptions of sphericity, and then utilizing a z-axis when you map out points derivative of the sky, longitude and latitude come from the celestial movement. You then add a z-axis assuming sphericity, never actually substantiating that. We can't go measure the entirety of the Earth, is what you would have to do to actually establish a circumference value, because it's illegal. You can't have a radius value or claim that you know it's accurate because you know the circumference is accurate. That's called a begging the question fallacy.
Where's the circumference?
You don't need to measure the entire Earth to get a circumference.
Oh, okay. So you need to measure a line all the way around it, right?
You certainly could.
Okay, so without your little semantical bullshit, yeah, that's how you get it. Now, if you don't do it that way, you can look at the sun and make up stories. Is that what you're saying you do?
That's not what I'm saying I do.
Okay, so how do I measure the circumference without actually going all the way around the Earth?
You could do it at the equator.
I could measure the whole entire circumference at the equator.
Yeah, if you want to.
Do I have to go around the equator and come back to where I started?
That could work.
So you have to go around the Earth.
Yeah, people have done it.
So just a second ago you said you didn't have to go around the Earth.
You have to.
Not around Antarctica. You don't have to go that
I never
far.
said. I didn't even say that.
You did say it was illegal. The only thing you're referring
Well, yeah, it's
to
illegal
is
to prove that it's illegal to prove the sphericity bit. So if you go down around the middle and the Earth isn't a ball, that doesn't prove to you the circumference, you loser. Do you understand that? If the Earth isn't a ball and you go around the arbitrary line of the equator, and you come back to where you start, that doesn't prove the Earth's a ball, nor does it prove circumference. You have to assume the Earth's a ball. Then when you get back to your starting point on the equator, say, oh, I went all the way around a ball. This is the circumference. It's that dumb. So yeah, you would have to actually go under the discussion.
You're forgetting the part of the discussion that just happened moments ago, where the distance around the equator and the North Pole together show you that it's not a flat surface.
No, that doesn't. No. That doesn't give you the circumference, dude. It's like talking to kindergartners. To get the circumference, you're gonna have to go from north to south, back up north, proving sphericity and getting the circumference value, and you would actually want to coordinate that to the equator.
Even on a flat plane, it's a circumference.
No, it's not a circumference. The equator is not a circumference on a flat plane.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is. It'd still be a circle. You're going around in a
No,
circle.
okay. What's circumference? It's from the center to the edge, right?
Sure, yeah, that would be. It'd be this.
Is the equator the edge of the Earth?
No, of course. No.
So it's not the circumference.
No one's saying it's the.
It is a circumference.
Only if the Earth's a ball.
Right.
Okay, so you all lost again. That was hard.
On a flat surface, if you're making a circle, that circle has a circumference.
Okay, but it isn't the circumference of the Earth, you loser.
No one's saying that.
Yeah, that is what y'all are saying. You're saying you know the circumference of the Earth. That's how you know the radius. Y'all are getting demolished. Right?
No, I'm just saying that. I'm saying that no matter what, the equator is a circumference. It's either the
okay, yeah, because it's a circle.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. You're cutting people off before they're completely answering you.
That's a non sequitur. You claim to have the circumference of the Earth.
But Witsit, the circumference of the Earth on a globe would be the equator. Sure, the circumference of half the Earth would be the circumference of would be the equator on a flat plane. I mean.
Okay, that's inaccurate. So you're then making the can I respond? You're making the assumption that there's an equidistant beyond the equator as prior to. So can you tell me how you could substantiate that when you're strawmanning the flat Earth that you don't even think the Earth is?
What is the equator in his mind?
It's just an arbitrary line on the Earth. But my question is very simple. Shut up, dude. Shut up. Shut up. Kosho, can you answer my question? You said that I would be able to determine the circumference of the flat Earth using the equator. This requires a presupposition of equidistance beyond the equator, correct?
I didn't state that. I said
what'd you say?
It's a circumference is what I stated.
No, you said you said you could use it to find the circumference of the flat Earth. It's being recorded.
Oh, okay, then listen to what I'm saying so you can fully understand what's being said to you.
You're saying a non sequitur. It's a circumference. That's irrelevant. What's the circumference of the Earth,
If you're going to make the words I'm saying up and then argue against that,
I'll just play it on my phone back through the speakers because you're a liar.
Yeah, no one's lying to you here.
I'm playing it back through the speakers. Don't worry.
Okay, that's fine.
I know
made
it's
this
fine.
Picture years ago, but regardless,
you're gonna look so stupid, dude.
Sure. So the circumference of the Earth, like I said, on a globe would be the equator, but on a flat Earth, a circumference would be the equator. Obviously,
so that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant then.
Hold on. Obviously, it's not the full extent of the Earth because there's the southern hemisphere. So no one thinks that. The whole point is that the relationship between that circumference and the radius, which would be the center point, the North Pole, to that circle, you can define what these numbers should be if it were flat.
No, you can't. You cannot define the radius value on a flat Earth by using the equator circumference. That is almost as stupid as the fact you think that water bends around the exterior of a spinning object in a vacuum defying physics. So the actual point was
he didn't say the radius.
The actual.
He didn't say the radius of the whole Earth. You dingbat.
Stop interrupting me, moron. So what actually happened that started the whole conversation was you invoked the radius. Someone said, yeah, down to the core. You and Kimo were talking about it. The R value. You said, well, we don't have to go down there to know the R value. We know the circumference. So yeah, he did invoke the radius and the circumference. You clown show. Go on mute.
Just look at the picture I just posted. We made this years ago. No one thinks it's the extent of the flat Earth. I'm showing clearly it's the equator on the flat Earth and on the globe. What's in question is the relationship between these values.
Yeah. So
is the equator in the sky as well?
Equator's a measurement or a location.
No, it's just an arbitrary line.
So is it located on Earth and the sky, or just on the Earth?
Off of watching the system of this planet and how it functions.
It's not a planet.
The arbitrary line.
So it's the arbitrary line between north and south, right? The northern
It's an
hemisphere and the
arbitrary
southern hemisphere,
how
right?
the planet actually functions.
And when you do time lapse like photography, you see the two celestial poles turn, right? And there's a line in between them, right? Right?
If you're talking
The
about the
stars-
celestial equator.
What's that?
If you're talking about the celestial equator.
Yeah.
But what's that have to do with the actual surface of the Earth, like you guys always say? Look into
Well,
the sky.
there's
Well, the
an
very-
interesting. Sorry,
Good.
Witsit.
You're good.
I was just going to say there's an interesting thing that's happening in the brain too. Like the brain has two hemispheres as well. So
Yeah.
we seem to be a microcosm of the Earth
Yeah.
and the sky, right? As
Exactly.
above, so below.
Okay, that's totally unrelated.
Okay,
is it?
well, it's just true, and you guys can't handle truth. It's just like how we breathe based on the vegetation and the trees, and then their limbs look just like our lungs. Their roots look just like their limbs and our lungs and our brains. So to think that there's no correlation between us and nature just shows that you're forced your worldview into the confinement of materialism. So that
The
you
shape
can't
of the
even fully-
brain has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
That's crazy that I always interrupt every time, though.
The shape of the brain has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
I didn't say the shape of the brain, you clown.
Hemispheres
Just
of the
that
brain have nothing to do with the hemispheres of the Earth.
Are you
Okay,
sure?
you don't know that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, did you create my brain? That's for sure you didn't. You're not even capable of intellectually discussing things with me. I don't think that you created me.
Witsit.
To even mention hemispheres of the brain in relation to hemispheres of the Earth is intellectual dishonesty.
Oh, it's intellectual dishonesty. So is there
How?
not? Is how?
Wait,
How's it? How's it dishonest?
Arguing
What
that
Witsit make his point?
I want to know how it's dishonest.
Yeah.
What
I wanna know
what
too.
is your point though?
It wasn't even
How's
my
it
point, Curve.
dishonest?
Seems like you should listen before you talk.
What were you saying?
It was
Per
my
usual.
point.
Why were you
Per
saying it?
usual.
Shut
up,
point
Kurt.
was
The
talk.
conversation's
Hey,
under
Kurt,
control.
shut
Everyone
up.
knows what they're talking about, Curve. Let them carry on.
Fuck
was-
yourself, Chemo.
It was my point.
Yeah. So Curve, you once again just don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, can we get back? How do you
I
know?
don't
How
know
is
what
that?
you're talking about.
Yeah, but
We
if you
know, you
listen,
never
then
do.
you'll find out what they're saying.
Well, it sounds like they're saying that the Earth is three-dimensional and has two hemispheres, which I agree with.
That seems to be what
Oh
Witsit
no,
was
there's a
getting at.
celestial sphere. There's actually a celestial sphere of energy over around the Earth. Did you know that? So we live on the dielectric plane within a celestial sphere of magnetic energy. Can you, in any way, give me one piece of evidence that is counter to that, please?
You don't have any
You
evidence
misuse the
for
word
it.
dielectric.
Yes, I do. It's called the magnetic flux. It's
No, you
called.
don't.
Hey, I'm talking. It's called the
We're all
magnetic.
talking.
It's called the
Oh,
magnetic.
do you want to be that strict? We can do that, Witsit. You'll be
It's
muted
called-
like crazy though. Just warning you.
Why is a mom
Yeah.
interrupting
Toe to
my
toe.
case?
Okay, it's called the magnetic flux. In addition to that, we can use ferrocell cell imaging to see exactly how magnetic fields take place and manifest, and we know how they do, and we know we have a magnetic field on the Earth, provably. So the electromagnetic field is encompassing the dielectric plane, the inertial plane, which is in every single magnetic field that's ever existed in the history of all mankind ever. So if we have electromagnetic field on the Earth and there's a dielectric plane on that magnetic field, well, that's where we live. It's the only place that can sustain life, and then there would have to be above and below for the magnetic field to exist.
How would that work on a flat surface?
The flat
You-
surface is the
what do you think he
dielectric
knows?
plane, dude. Write down some notes or something.
Can you repeat that a bit slower? I didn't quite get it.
Sure. Every time you have a magnetic field, it has a toroid, like a donut. Through the middle of it is what's called the inertial plane, the dielectric plane.
Well, you'd have to explain how this toroid is working on the flat surface.
Well,
How is that actually working on a flat surface?
have you ever seen a gyroscope?
Yeah, and gyroscopes, they pivot on all three axes, right?
Right.
Right.
And what's in the middle
on
of
a
the
flat-
gyroscope? What's
your-
in the middle
your
of the
reaction?
gyroscope? An inertial
jelly
plane,
bean?
right?
Jelly bean. Yeah.
Is it an inertial plane in the middle of the gyroscope?
It depends on who built the gyroscope.
Gyroscope's not a magnet.
Yeah, and it's not a magnet. Yeah.
So could there be a
Hey, sorry, I had
plane
to
in the
step
middle
away.
of-
I'm stepping away. Did any of you guys respond to the fact that every single time we've ever taken an image of a magnetic field, it's a toroid with a dielectric plane? Does anyone want to dispute that? Is there an inertial plane in a magnetic field? Does we all agree on that?
How does that work on a flat
Hey,
surface?
do we all agree that there is an inertial plane in a magnetic field?
How do you get an infinite number of south poles on a flat surface with a toroid?
I'm certainly not going to agree to it at this point. It's not making any sense to me.
So just imagine a big gyroscope.
That's why I was asking Kev, could he speak a bit slower so I could try to understand what he's saying?
You don't want to imagine.
Hey, why? This is what I don't get. This is what y'all. Hey, listen.
Act
Y'all
like
think
he's making a fucking
Hey,
point.
y'all think y'all are slick by asking me a question and then I'm phrasing it like y'all are dismantling me and then muting me where I don't respond. It's like, oh, look, Austin doesn't have anything to say now. Stop muting me, dude. It's pathetic. So yes, I asked a simple question. Okay, does everyone here agree that a magnetic field has an inertial plane?
I asked, what is an inertial plane?
Yeah, well, it's the plane through the middle of the magnetic field where there is effectively nothing. It rests.
Listen,
the inertial plane.
Just like you asked me how I found the middle of the Earth. How'd you find the middle of the plane?
Oh, okay. Well, you don't seem to be listening. The middle of the plane is the middle. Pull your pencil out and take notes, dude. When you use a shut up. I'm explaining to you for the fourth time. Listen this time. I'm not going to answer the same stupid questions over and over. So listen, when you use a ferrocell, you take an image of a magnetic field. Oh my gosh.
I don't have to be smart. The middle's the middle.
Okay, are you done?
I want.
Okay, so can I explain it or are you done? Okay. When you use a ferrocell, oh my god.
Hold on, I was just asking why Rocky is muted. Go on.
When you use a ferrocell, you have an inertial plane or a dielectric plane, okay? You can look at the magnetic fields with a ferrocell and prove this yourself. This has nothing to do with what Austin thinks. This is objective, okay? Now, someone asked, so there's a dielectric plane with an electromagnetic field with a toroid over top of the Earth. And the only place that can sustain life is a dielectric plane. That's what we live on. Now, someone said, how can you explain the pose of the dielectric plane? Like, dielectric plane is somehow not objectively a fact of life, because people just don't know what we're talking about. So how do you explain the poles? Well, that's a convenient question to ask the globe because according to Stanford and Harvard and Yale, and I'll provide all the papers if you want to because I know you guys don't research the things you believe, you just blindly believe them, they admit that they cannot explain the poles on a globe Earth. They're actually trying to theoretically explain a monopole, which is simply a theoretical construction because every magnetic field must have two poles, of course, a dipole. So either we live within a dipole, like there's some type of ring magnet effect, which I actually don't lean that way. I think that there's actually a land mass that has to be somewhere based on the flux of the magnetic field that we don't know about that would sustain the second pole. So really we have a quadrupole over the Earth. One thing we know we don't have is we don't have two poles and a monopole because monopoles don't exist in reality.
If we had a quadrupole, then compasses would point to 4 different south poles.
Every time we get way further in the south, our compass goes crazy.
Have you done this yourself?
Are you saying that doesn't happen?
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
have you been there?
So you're telling me that the compass doesn't get tricky the further you get south? Does anyone in here want to correct your stupid little gamma globers?
I'm asking you how far.
Does anyone in here want to correct the stupid gamma globers that are wasting my time? Does
No.
anyone want to correct them?
No.
So compasses
We want
work.
you to prove what you're saying.
Curve. Does compasses work perfectly all the way in the south?
I got my hand up.
You're asking some very silly questions.
Hey, Curve, does the compass work perfectly all the way in the south?
They're very loaded questions.
No, it's a very simple question. You can answer it because you are fake with your wire.
Hey, babe, do you need a diaper change?
No, I need you to
answer the question. We want to know about the compass in the south. What does it do? Tell us how you understand it.
How can anybody answer when he won't shut up?
Well,
Emo?
can you answer then, please, how you understand it in the south?
Go on, Terry. Tell him how he's wrong.
He's a delta because he needs a diaper change.
Terry, you've got your hand up. Tell him how he's
how
wrong.
is Witsit wrong about the compass in the south? How is Witsit
how he's doing? He never been to the south. And
Can
I
you give
asked
Terry
how
a
far
go?
south is he ever been?
You rude schmuck.
No,
Cheeky,
you're rude,
look.
schmuck. I'm asking a question. I got
Cheeky, is
an
your
answer.
name Terry? Cheeky.
So Terry or curved, how does the compass work in the south? Does it go haywire or does it work perfectly fine?
I'll ask where in the south, and then let Terry, since Terry is in the south, tell you what he has to say about it.
Okay.
Where in the south?
Let's go, Terry.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you in the south? holding the compass.
Oh, I said someone made a claim that if there was a quadrupole, then our compasses would always face south.
You're not
So what I
answering the
said-
question.
I'm explaining the. I am answering the question.
In the
I am
South,
answering the
are
question.
you talking about?
Oh my God, Kosho, what the?
Speaking as though anywhere in the southern hemisphere.
No, I wasn't.
goes
No,
haywire.
Coach, are you going to mute the
He didn't
fat
say
old
that,
man
Kurt.
that hides behind the internet, or are you going to keep letting him interrupt?
He's saying that the more you
Shut
go
up!
towards.
Shut up! I'm talking, dude.
That's part of the problem with it. You're talking, but you're not answering.
Curved. That's unnecessary.
You're not saying anything.
You asked me a
Grandpa.
question. As soon as I went to answer, you interrupted me, dude. What a clown!
Come on, Grandpa.
So I'll answer. I'll answer.
But-
So
but bring
actually, you
something.
said, so he straw man and said, I said that anytime it goes in the southern hemisphere, it messes up. Literally, Curve just made that up. This is all being recorded. That's all he ever does because he's never anywhere close to keeping up with the conversation. He's actually a mental midget. So whenever this started, was someone said that if there was a quadrupole, that the compass would all face down the south. When you get down to the south, it would all face at the quadrupole at the south. That's what someone said. That was their claim. That's what sparked this conversation. I then said, actually, when you get too far south, the compasses don't work. Then you guys just baselessly said that wasn't true, and then you just ran away from it. Now you're trying to straw man me saying that it don't work in the southern hemisphere. No, I said as you go further and further south towards the quadrupole, which someone else had invoked. So feel free to respond with specificity, or I guess you're just going to skate past this.
You're almost wrong about
Terry, let Terry answer this.
They didn't claim you said anything. They were asking you what you said.
No, he said if the quadrupole. This is what he said. If there
No, I
was
know
a
what he said.
quadrupole, he said if there was a quadrupole, if there was a quadrupole, then the compasses would all face that direction in the south. That's what he said. That's what he said.
He said 4 different directions, and then Curved. You said you asked Curved, and then would go haywire. And Curved asked, "Where in the south are you talking about?"
All the way close to the quadrupoles. So further south, way further south than, I don't know, some landmass right below the equator like Curve's talking about like a loser. This is how pathetic you guys are. You can only straw man my argument. Do you guys not realize that intelligent people know that you aren't even arguing my points ever and that you look dumb as hell?
Curved hasn't said anything, but all he did was ask for a clarifying question. That's all
All
he did.
Curve did was interrupt me every time I talked.
Okay.
With nothing substantive to say.
So Terry,
Well, you're in the south as well, Mel.
right?
Where's your
Does
compass?
your compass work? Hmm?
My compass isn't going haywire, but I'm not near the South Pole, am I, Terry?
No,
Thank you.
I'm on the
south,
East Coast.
Far enough south.
No, not far enough. Why do you get to take...
So where is far enough? We're asking you.
Okay, way further.
Way further where?
Way further away from the north. You would actually have to know the distance all the way to know this answer. And you know we don't know
Where?
that. Are you dumb?
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
maybe
fair enough.
maybe
You're
closer
dumb.
to
so
Antarctica.
just tap out.
Closer
If
to
some-
Antarctica.
Africa,
That'd be close
they're
enough.
pointing in a different south pole direction.
Well,
As far as I'm led to believe, the compasses still point north-south as close as you get to the magnetic poles.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if you go all the way to the South Pole, quote unquote, the compass works perfectly. So the military must not know what they're talking about. Do I need to provide some military documents for you clowns?
Yeah,
As
do
you
it.
get closer to
Okay,
the
I'll
South
provide some
Pole,
military documents so you can skate past them, not read them, and still tout victory like the gammas you are.
Yeah, please do.
the only thing that really happens at the South Pole is the needle starts aiming down at the ground.
Oh, I thought it worked perfect.
It doesn't go haywire.
Actually, I'm going to provide the military documents that say that they had to, in fact, design an entire different type of compass for southern travel, and then you guys will just skate past it and act like it's not real or something.
Oh, are you talking about the southern and northern compass settings, where you have a different compass for the northern hemisphere and the different?
Yeah, yeah. Why do they? Well, yeah. Why did the military have to do that?
Because the magnetic poles are not directly related to the actual pole of the Earth.
Dude. What did he just say?
Did you just say that, dude?
Can we have that? Get that as a soundbite, somebody, please.
Magnetic North Pole
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
gotta make the numpty tapes for sure, for sure.
the magnetic North Pole right now is somewhere under Greenland right now. It's not underneath.
Oh, how do you substantiate that?
The
Yeah.
one in the south is moving too. Both of them are moving. Have you?
How
ever
do you
read
substantiate that?
Yeah.
Every year they measure where the magnetic pole is.
How do they do that?
Yeah.
All across the world, they have all the airports where the North Pole is now.
But how do they do it?
Yeah.
There are airports in Florida that have had to change the numbers.
But how did they discover where it
You can just use
was?
a compass. It's where the needle's pointing.
Oh, so the we have to just go out there every single year or every few days and see what it updates to?
Yeah. Plus,
Who does this? Who does this?
The national.
Cite it.
NOAA. It's NOAA, isn't it?
I don't know. You're telling the story.
I believe it's NOAA does it.
Okay, so you're just making stuff up. So
It's NOAA that does the official one.
hey guys, here's something interesting. I know this would require you be way too honest to actually admit that it's pretty intriguing. But if you look at the Northern Lights, they're actually not central to what they claim the North Pole is. You know,
That's
so like.
right.
Why would
Okay,
they be?
but
Why would they be?
I would love to explain if you would. I knew you would spiral because it's like it's someone's taking away your religion. That's why you spiral. So
No,
okay,
we
feel
agree
free to
that
interrupt
they
me.
don't
Go ahead.
We agree that they don't line up.
Okay,
They
I
line
know
up with the-
that. I know that. You didn't let me finish.
And that's proof that the magnetic field of the Earth isn't lined up with the North
Oh,
Pole.
it's proof. Okay, so please try not to interrupt me this time. So the Northern Light. Oh my God.
Give him a chance, Grenade. Come on.
The Northern Lights. Wow, dude, you're such a loser, dude. The
Give him a
Northern
chance,
Lights
Grenade.
do not line up perfectly over what they claim the North Pole is. This dude just said, yeah, that's proof they're not aligned. They're not related. Wow. Okay, so wow. I'm talking. Kosho. So the point is that you have to actually presuppose.
What on earth is going on?
You didn't have to mute him.
Nobody.
Just-
I mean, I didn't mute
You
him.
just
No, he's just
wouldn't
going
let
shit.
him get his point through.
I'm curious though. Who claimed that they were supposed to be at the North Pole?
I'm curious
kicked
why
him?
you interrupted 3 times and then someone
I
muted him
interrupted.
as he was
made a
speaking.
point, and then I
Who kicked
Out of
him?
the audience.
moving on to.
Can you check the log, Chemo? I'd like to know who kicked him.
They keep saying the North
Interrupting
Pole.
people every
Talking
time
about
they
the North
talk.
Pole or the magnetic north.
Who kicked him?
It
was CB pacifier sock. He confessed to it in text.
What are y'all
Who did?
scared of?
Yeah, another pacifier sock from the CB.
How can you guys not be? How can you guys not?
Wow, CB
How can you
kicked
not
him.
mod
Yeah.
your room?
I am moderating.
Dude.
Yeah, look at this. You got a guy who
I
won't
know.
even join text, the
Grenade
voice.
will say 2 words.
Completely triggered by voice.
How does nobody notice that?
Yeah, hold on. Imagine this. Imagine you got a moderator completely triggered by voice, and he won't even join the voice.
Okay,
He
listen,
triggers
Crit,
himself.
you're gonna be muted in a second if you start bringing that stuff up again.
You may as well mute all the flat earthers,
we wanna know
Kosher.
who
Then you
did
can
it.
sit here in
With,
silence. You can sit here talking about food. You can sit here talking about your nonsense cards. You can sit here talking about the girls that you're pulling. You may as well mute all the flat earthers, Kosher.
Kimo, we're in the middle of a different conversation, okay?
What kind of nonsense is this? That was not mutable. People are over talking left, right, and centre. They would have sorted it out by themselves.
I did mute him, Kimo.
Wow.
He wasn't being abusive.
didn't-
He wasn't being
Massive pacifier
offensive.
sock right there.
No,
Massive.
Crit, but we don't. You can't just bring up the petty arguments.
Yeah, because look at this.
Chat
The way it was
every
meant
time
to
we're
shut
talking
down the conversation.
I know, but Crit, we're
It was
talking
meant to
Crit,
cut-
Argument.
We're talking
So
about
this is what
petty
it was meant to
arguments?
do. It was
We're
meant
talking about
to
the
ruin everything.
magnetism
Chemo,
of the Earth.
exactly.
Can you take a picture of the log
full of
in the
crap.
chat so we can all see it?
Yeah, this would be good. This would
Well,
finally show everyone
Captain's just said that he's
what a
kicked him.
crybaby this guy is.
Can
Huh?
you repeat that this is petty arguments, Kosho?
Yeah, the petty arguments about him and CB. I agree. It's a petty argument. We're talking
No,
about the
petty
magnetic.
arguments that
Okay,
that we were-
Rakia. Okay, we're talking about the magnetic North Pole. If Witsit, he's not back yet.
Yeah,
He's
he's
talking
back.
about the
He's back.
he's talking about the Northern Lights. And my question to him was, who claims that they're supposed to be centered around the North Pole?
Yeah, and then he was interrupted, then he got muted, then he got kicked.
No, I didn't. Again, I didn't interrupt him. He had said one thing, got to the
Who
end of his
kicked
point,
him?
and then before he
That's
got
a
to
lie.
before he started,
Who
You
kicked
before he
him?
started,
interrupted him. We all
Kosher,
heard
who
you.
yeah,
kicked him
this,
too.
what you're doing is interrupting.
Why
This is
Rakia, what you're
outstanding.
currently doing is interrupting. He
Who
made his
kicked
point.
him,
I tried
Kosher,
to get in
please?
before he was making his
It's
second
right in the
point.
middle of its
It's not
point.
interrupting him.
Rukia, who kicked him?
I don't know. This
Captain-
is such a biased
Captain
room. It's
did.
pathetic.
EB.
Captain. Wow.
Oh, this is outstanding.
CB.
Bring it in. You guys circle the wagons here. Let everyone know the type of triggered snowflakes that these moderators are on the server.
This is going to
Was
be
he
true for
kicked or
everybody.
did he leave?
This is gonna be true.
Can we find
Bro,
out?
This is going to be true for everybody in here, Globers or flat earthers. You have to let people finish what they're saying. So if Grenade gets 2 words in and then you're ready to respond to him, you have to wait for him to finish. And Witsit had whoever was muting him was appropriately muting him. Yeah, Rakia.
You're really
Rakia,
joking right now.
Rakia, what I was just doing was talking.
You're a joke.
When Witsit makes a point, when Witsit makes a single point and then tries to move to a next point, and there's a space in between that, and somebody tries to ask a question, that's not interrupting.
See, the thing is, though, that CB's been on a 17-day spiral over like mod perms and kicking and muting and all this stuff. So this was bound to happen. The thing was, though, that you guys should have picked him up before he hit this rock bottom.
Right.
You should have been there for him.
But
Let's just bring it back to what we're talking about, man.
This is what we're talking about admin stuff.
Hang on,
You guys got to get this
I'm
under
on your
control.
side now, bro. I promise. But Kosho, he was talking about the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, and he said that they didn't match up with the North Pole.
Right.
And then it spiraled a little bit, not that bad. Then he was muted. Now he's not in the server.
That's
what
perfectly
happened?
fine. Somebody muted him, and then he left. That's what happened.
He left of his
No,
own
it's a
accord.
kick.
That's a very.
It was a kick or a ban. Let's see the log. Post the log.
He left because he was muted. He didn't get kicked or banned.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
He got muted because he got muted for.
Did he get kicked though, or did he just leave?
He didn't get kicked, man. I don't think he's here right now.
Sweet.
He didn't get kicked.
Okay.
He didn't get banned. I don't know what happened. He's back now.
Guess what happened? I'll tell you guys what happened. So,
we're not going to get back into it, man. Let's get back into those Aurora Borealis.
Just let people speak. This is the
like,
part of the problem.
I've been back for 5 seconds and you already interrupted me after monologuing about how important it was not to interrupt people.
I didn't interrupt you. I was asking you a question.
Yeah, he's got new arrival. He was kicked.
He wasn't kicked, man.
No, I wasn't kicked. So I left because I tried to explain the same point about 4 times, and I couldn't even get in past like the first 5 words of the point because moderators and non-moderators were muting me and talking over me. And Kosho, for you to pretend that it was the other way around just shows how dishonest you are. Hopefully, if we meet in person, you won't be this dishonest. Okay, so my point was this. Listen, Kosho.
We're not doing that, Witsit.
No, I'm talking about the lights. I'm talking about the lights, Kosho. This is my point. Okay, Kosho, listen.
That's why I asked you a question.
Oh my!
You made one point.
This is why I don't come in here. Y'all just want to try to make me mad or something. Like y'all hate y'all's life so much. Y'all hate y'all's life so much that you want to try to drag other people into toxicity.
You said that the Aurora Borealis is not centered around the north.
Yes,
and I'm asking you who claims that it should be.
Well, Kosho, wouldn't you think you'd maybe know my fucking premise if you let me finish it, you dumbass?
I'm not asking about your premise. I'm asking about the claim you've already made.
I didn't make a claim yet, you idiot.
You did. You said they're not even centered around the North Pole.
And then I started to explain my point, and you interrupted, saying, "Who said they should be?" So shut up. Shut up.
You did make a claim.
I'm
waiting for your paper.
This is why I don't come in here, because now I've cussed, now I'm getting upset. Like, y'all suck, bro. Y'all are like the pieces of shit of reality, bro. Like, y'all y'all live on trying to make other people upset. It's not being that much of a loser.
Austin, just breathe it. Just hold it. You got it.
Like, I can't even imagine being such a loser that I live on trying to make other people upset.
If you're going to make your point, then make your point. But
okay, let's see if I'll get to make my point, Mr. City Moderator.
Like, this is not your place to vent.
So stop interrupting it.
Okay, so I said, I actually prefaced with, I know this is way too open-minded of a point for you guys in here. I prefaced with that, and I said, but I do find it interesting that the northern lights don't even align with what they say the center of the earth is. Now, if we take magnetic fields and we put them up to certain types of neon gases, they will actually become fluorescent because of the magnetic field. Now, we know that the compass is faced towards the central origin of the magnetic field in the center of the earth, and we also know that the northern lights are very close to that, and that we can't verify the actual north other than Coach was saying there's a flag in the ground in the water that the government put there and we should trust them. So I find it intriguing that based on the magnetic phenomena combined with the phenomena of neon gases reacting to the magnetism that would cause the actual effect of the northern lights, that would be centralized to the magnetic field, yet they claim that it has no correlation. This is because they are trying to explain a monopole and a core and the dynamic threshold. This is what Yale has to say about it. So I do find it interesting. Yeah, they still cannot explain the northern lights or the magnetic field.
Not going to be. It's not expected to be centered around the North Pole. And
on your little ball or fairy tale, because it can't be.
The geographic North Pole is not in contention.
I'm contending it right now.
They don't use the northern lights and they don't use the magnetic north to find it either.
I didn't say they did.
Yeah, but I know. But you were saying that how can they know where it is, even though this doesn't work and this doesn't work? Those two things I just stated.
No.
Those two things that you just stated aren't in relationship to the geographic North Pole.
Yeah, but that's what your little fairy tale model claims. I explained that, dude. I explained why they claim that. Why do they claim that, Kosho? Why do they claim they're not related?
That?
Yale and Harvard and Stanford, all the top proponents of your little academia that you revere as a priesthood.
They claim that the center of the North Pole can be found by the magnetic north or the.
No, I didn't say that. I never said that. You're straw manning me. What I said was your model claims they're not related,
right.
But based on observable phenomena and actual scientific evidence not related to the Jesuits that made up stories through higher academia, we can take a magnetic field, put it next to neon gases, they become fluorescent. Relative and proportionate to the magnetic field. So we have a magnetic field centralized on Earth. That's where all the compasses face. So what they claim the North Pole isn't where it really is, because magnetism causes the neon gases to become fluorescent, which is what the Northern Lights phenomena is. And we know it's right next to the main primary origin or source of magnetism. To think that these are completely unrelated just because Kosho says, oh, well, they wouldn't even be related. They aren't even related. Just because you say it doesn't mean anything. I have physical empirical evidence that magnetic fields turn neon gases fluorescent, and that's the actual observable phenomena we see in the center.
Yeah, I said the geographical North Pole is not found by those two phenomena that you said.
So you're just going to skate past everything I said?
Aurora Borealis is not in relationship to the North Pole, magnetic North Pole. It's not centered around it, but it is a course.
No, yeah, my point is that they just claim the geographic North Pole and the magnetic North Pole are not related. They're not the same. They just say that because they have to when they're accounting for mass or gravitational particles, right? Like whenever they came for the centrifugal force of the gravitation of mass particles and the fluctuation within all the way down to the core because of the vibrational readings not being consistent, they say it fluctuates. I know your religion better than you do, dude, like always. So my point is that if you use magnetism on any, respond specifically, Kosho, or I'm leaving. Kosho, respond specifically, or I'm leaving. You can use magnetism on neon glasses to become. Hey, can you use magnetism to make neon gases fluorescent?
Every time, and then bitch about getting interrupted.
I was still talking. Can you make neon gases fluorescent?
Started talking.
Hey, can magnetism make neon gases fluorescent?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so is it possible that that's the phenomena that we see at the center?
The Aurora Borealis is from the charged particles that come from the sun. So charged particles.
So it has nothing to do with magnetism.
They get caught in the magnetic field, and they
go ahead.
Discharge at the almost at the poles, but they can go as far south as however strong they are.
So it does have to do with the magnetic field.
Of course it does.
Okay, so we agree on that. So the point is, I'll say again, that you have to claim, because your priest told you this, you have to claim this, that the magnetic field centralized on the Earth and the Northern Lights are not related to the geographical North Pole. You have to claim that. I don't buy it. It's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense because of the way magnetism works. There's an inertial plane. So you're making claims antithetical to the phenomena of magnetism. You have no evidence to support the even possibility of it. You just say, well, it's not related because you know what they told you to believe. So do you have any evidence?
What's confusing is what you're saying. The claim that you're making and the evidence that you're providing aren't in relationship to each other. So the claim that you're making is that somehow because there's a magnetic field and there's charged particles in the atmosphere, somehow this means the geographical
magnetic
field, the magnetic North Pole.
Yeah, because they lied about the Earth, Kosho. I'm pretty sure you know that. You just act like they didn't. So the center isn't exactly known, but we know the compasses all face there. If there is a massive magnetic source in the center that we're not allowed to go see, which we literally aren't allowed to fly within 500 miles of each direction of that, and it's in the center and it's the magnetic source directly in the center, then the Northern Lights would actually become visible relative to that magnetic field in the center, and they would be centralized to it, yet it's ducked off a little bit from what they claim it is. So we don't know the real North Pole. That's the point. That's the premise. They're lying about the real location of the North Pole. You have to say, no, I promise they're not. I know they're telling the truth, but even though we can't verify it and the magnetic field isn't consistent with the central point of the geographical North Pole, but I promise it's just because that's the way it is, and I believe them. That's stupid, dude. That's not good enough. Can you get some evidence, please?
And compasses don't even work north of Canada. Remember that.
Not particularly efficiently, no. Because the magnetic field gets so strong, the compass just goes crazy.
The magnetic North Pole is a known location that you are allowed to go to. The geographic North Pole is a real location that people go to all the time.
Oh, you're allowed to freely traverse Greenland? You haven't researched any of this. You cannot freely traverse Greenland. The Queen of Denmark doesn't allow you to do that. Have you researched anything before you talk about it?
Hey, there's a
No.
big problem
So I'm
with
gonna catch up with you guys later. Much love. Hey, I'm sorry that it got a little contentious. I would say maybe maybe I can work on it too. I'm sorry if I interrupted some people. Maybe y'all can show some more respect back towards me next time because we're all on the same team, whether you like it or not.
Hey, before you go, we've got to know, why is the fight not going down? There was a big live stream last night that the guy was going to put up the funds and pay for both y'all to make it to Dallas so you could do a boxing match. What happened, and why are you not going to do it now? After Nathan talked all that shit and said he was going to kick your ass, why are you not going to have the fight? If they were going to pay your way here,
forget the
why
gossip
would you not
stuff.
do
Who
it?
cares? Hey, Witsit, you know a torch field is a monopole, right?
Hey, be
The monopoles don't exist in reality. You know that, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cite evidence of a monopole existing in reality. You just make stuff up. You Globers are jokes.
Never once said they existed. I said they didn't exist.
Okay, so then that means your model doesn't exist because it's trying to explain a monopole.
No, a flat
Well,
earth
that's what
explains
Harvard says, so
monopole.
is Harvard wrong? Is Harvard wrong?
It doesn't.
Is Stanford wrong? I will cite it, you idiot. I've cited it in here 50 times. You're breaking up because even the creator knows no one wants to hear your nonsense. So I'm going to just say, guys, we're all on the same team. Hey, we're all on the same team, guys.
Sean. But yeah, if you could provide that, because I don't think anyone's ever heard that claim before.
But I've cited it in here like 10 times. I've cited it to you specifically. So you're lying per usual. Yeah, I'll drop it in here in a second when I go get my MacBook over there. Open it up. I'll drop it in there. It's really easy. You can just type in stanford.edu magnetic monopole dynamo threshold with the globe model, and it'll explain it. But you guys don't research things for yourself. You want to believe it's not true till we forcibly give it to you. Then you'll still ignore it and walk past it because you guys are literally religious zealots. MasqueradeTour.com, MASKERAID Tour.com. Witsit gets it on YouTube. Globebusters Activism on YouTube. Witsit gets it on DLive. Witsit gets it on Twitch. If you like to support the tour, $sign Witsit gets it on Cash App. Witsit Proton Mail on PayPal. Love you guys. Much love. Peace.
Weird that you're doing that right now.
Dum 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 dum.
It'd be nice if he didn't come back in here anymore.
Yeah, but earlier,
Yeah, you guys got to take off that new arrival role so people can understand if he gets kicked or not. That's pretty shady to keep that new arrival role on them.
He wasn't kicked, right?
Yeah, but if you can see new arrival, take the new arrival role off.
He
That way-
he said himself he wasn't kicked.
Yeah, but if you see a new arrival role on somebody and you know how CB acts with all these pacifier sucks, it's very easy to understand that hey, this guy got kicked and rejoined.
Great.
So
He said himself he wasn't kicked.
Yeah, take out clear up the confusion and remove the new arrival role. That's all you gotta do. That's it.
Great. He left the server and rejoined. He's gonna get the new arrival role. It's not a confusion. You're confused.
Yeah, it is. It is
It's not
confusing.
confusing, though. It's obvious. He said he wasn't kicked, but he has new arrival. That means he left the server and then came back. Okay? No one's at fault here.
Penis.
Yes, the idea is to break down flat earther. I mean, you've got to let people speak, no matter how damaging the information. Oh, Chikey is.
Did you mute Jackie? Bit ironic.
Just to restore order, Chikey.
How clear?
Order. Wait. Order, Timo. Hold on. No, I'm waiting 10 minutes now. I'm waiting 10 minutes.
Why you don't let people speak?
I'm in the middle of speaking though, Chikey and Chemo. There's no need to persist. There's no need to argue.
Yeah, but people can speak their minds though. They are allowed
they can speak their mind, Chemo. I'm trying to say something. You should be able to recognize that Witsit was interrupting everybody, Chemo. Every time they talked. And whining about being interrupted. He's excited about the truth being revealed, and you've got to kind of be aware of that, right? And not antagonize it by not allowing interference. I mean, you've got to read people's characters, right? And what people are like. And obviously, sometimes they want to finish what they're saying. Well, the irony was he was the one complaining.
I mean,
and can I say something? Hold on. Wait, I'm waiting for 10 minutes now. So I asked Witsit, you let him move all around. He said he has a document, and I asked for his document, which he didn't provide. He was going to provide. How did you get to the Aurora when we were talking about the magnets going haywire south to the equator, far south?
No, I know what you're saying, but it was just a little bit.
Well, I asked for the document. That's all I asked, and he kept ignoring it.
Yeah, but if you've got several people asking him questions, Chaiki.
Look, he said he has a document and he will post it. He said it.
I know.
It's hard. It's
but
hard to ask
obviously, it's in the archives. You know, we have the facts, the figures, and the numbers. We don't just say it, Chaiki, for no reason. Yes. And
the archives.
Yeah, so obviously, if we'd have asked him again, can you post it? He would have obviously done it eventually. But obviously, there was so much going on. You know, many different questions and stuff. So take priority, and some of the other questions took priority.
Well, he asked who measured the magnetic pole, and I posted the link of NOAA, which they probably did since 1904, something like this. So
he didn't answer your question.
It's all good now, though. I mean, sure, he'll be back, Chaiki. You know, we'll be able to get those questions in. But you know, it's crazy in here, as you can see. What are you supposed to do? You know?
I think what we should do is treat everybody with the same. Everybody should be expected to adhere to the same, you know, mutual etiquettes that we're expected other people to give to us. So it's like interrupting and stuff like that. If you're going to sit there and complain about people interrupting you when they're not, and you're the worst serial interrupter, like Grenade never got to finish anything that he said except for the one time in which it was muted.
Can we unmute Dallas, David, and Chris?
David muted. Why is David muted?
And when Witsit is muted, he's muted for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, not 10 minutes.
He should be expected to, you know, get the same shit that Chucky got, you know, and everybody else.
And now we sit in silence.
By
no, we
design.
don't. Oh no, sorry, quick, go ahead.
No, I would say by design. It's meant to be a massive pacifier suck for globalists who have been defeated all over the internet. They just all trickle in here, and they can try to maintain some delusional sense that their globe model is real.
Right.
It's a fair point, Chris, but I'm not sure how you ever get to any of your points, man.
I don't have a defense about the globe because, in fact, the Earth is a sphere. And nothing we can argue about will ever change that.
Yeah. Those who profess need to demonstrate.
I don't profess, state facts.
First point that Grenade was making, I think is one of the biggest evidences, or like I said, proof. It really is a mathematical proof, but let's call it evidence. It's one of the biggest damning evidences of the flat Earth, and every time it's addressed or brought up, it's not addressed. It's avoided because of the fact that, I mean, it is pretty damning. And Witsit responded with it after being confronted with it, just by saying that we don't understand, you know, circles or something like that. But it truly is a very clear and concise point. And
but the main arguments you have are flight paths, the positions of land masses,
sure,
2 celestial spheres,
address
and
this
gravity.
How about the?
No, hold on, Chris. Let's address the one that I was just brought up that is getting avoided. It was the first one that got brought up that, which is, like I said, interrupted.